What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. This is episode number 18. We start today just obviously that two of our players have their contract coming at the end of the season. They're going to be poached away from January onwards. These are two of our veterans in the team. You've got Fabian Klos, Bielefeld's record goal scorer and club captain. 35 years old, 64 overall. He's decreased 3 ratings this year and barely plays, but he took a wage cut, so I extended it for 1 year. But I'm like, bro, don't you want to retire? Like, you know what I mean? You're 35 years old, you've made enough money. Join our coaching staff, mate, because to be honest, you're not going to get much game time as the years go by. But also, Alessandro Schupf as well, 28-year-old Austrian. We turned him from a midfielder to a fullback. I love his high work rate and the high stamina as well. 72 overall, 28 years old, doesn't get much game time, and in terms of a long-term future, doesn't have much of one. But I put an extra 1 year on his contract as well. Just because I mentioned before, like, I feel like we're doing things quite realistically in the first 2 years of this Bielefeld side with the squad we're assembling and the results we've had so far and how the team identity is shaping up as well. I didn't want to just explode the team in, 1 year and have a totally, new set of wonder kids for season 2. The way things have gone so far have been quite realistic, so I thought extending the record goal scorer for another year plus club captain as well, if he's not ready to retire yet, was probably quite realistic. Same with Schupf as well. He doesn't get much game time, but we have such a young team. It's important to have at least 1 or 2 players in their late 20s and their 30s as well. So Schupf will stay as well. So first game of today's episode, Union Berlin, on the back of 3 straight wins where we saw Jamie Llewellyn scored a goal of the season in our victory over Bochum. Now taking on Union Berlin here at the Schuko Arena. Took the lead through our new number 10, and it probably should have been kept out, but we don't mind one bit. 11th goal in 14 games. He's still chasing Robert Lewandowski, but he's given him a good run for his money. 1-0. Union Berlin would find the leveler right before the break. It was such a frustrating game as well because it was quite, I mean, I'll be honest here, I felt I was playing alright, but there weren't that many clear-cut chances. But 72 minutes in, I was trying to get inside in the second half, couldn't break Union Berlin down, restricted to long-range efforts, so I thought I'd let fly with Martin Dardai, the former Hertha Berlin defender, who turned into holding mid, and he scores a contender for goal of the season to rival Jamie's solo effort in the last game against Bochum. What a strike that was. The replay was pretty poor, hence why I didn't include it. But even so, great goal, top corner. And we do get the win in the end after Union Berlin couldn't respond. So, final score at Schuko Arena, 2-1. Llewellyn and Dardai, our goal scorers in this one. You see the stats here. I would have been fuming had I not won this one. To be fair, you see the 11 shots there. The XG was only 2.6. A lot of my efforts did come from range in this game. Union Berlin, particularly in the second half, did a really good job of keeping me out of the penalty area. But even so, definitely deserved a win. And after a poor run of form has been ended, 4 straight wins, 100% record in December, we've jumped back into the top 10 and back into the top 7. Now we're 4 points behind Mönchengladbach, who love 6th place at the halfway stage. Leverkusen leading the way with Bayern in 2nd, Wolfsburg 3rd, Leipzig 4th, and Dortmund and Mönchengladbach in those Europa and Europa Conference League spots. Now looking at the bottom 3, Mainz and Frankfurt with 13 and Schalke bottom with 11. I'll be honest here, even halfway through the season, I cannot see us getting sucked into a relegation scrap unless we have a horrible second half of the campaign where we lose at least 8 of our 12 games. 8 of our 17 games. I feel confident we'll be able to avoid that. I think we should have a record which, doesn't see us win the majority of our games in the second half of the season, but the way I'm kind of looking at the league table right now and how it's been very, very mixed for a lot of teams this season. No one's well clear of anyone else in the table. It's very congested right now at the halfway point. I feel as though we should be able to avoid a losing record in the second half of the season, and that should be enough for us to stay clear at the bottom 3. The question is, can we keep pace with those European spots like we did for the majority of last season? Well, I hope so, but Mönchengladbach, man, they just love that 6th spot. They had it for the entire season last year. Let's hope we can keep pace with them for as long as possible. Still, as the January transfer window does open in January, Arazi got a scouting update and academy update. Oh, this guy looks really decent indeed. Levin Schuster, 17-year-old, 6'4", 66 rated German goalkeeper. I mentioned before, goalkeepers, every single one of them you scout, and I mean every single one, their lowest stat for goalkeeping attributes is always positioning. It's bizarre. It's just every single time you get a goalkeeper, you're like, right, let's put him on a Squeaker Keeper development plan straight away, because every single one has low positioning. But even so, we've now got two really good goalkeepers in our academy, Schuster and also Martin as well. So as we know, Ortega is one of the highest rated players in this team at 80 overall. He's standing captain right now in our first 11, but we will be looking for a long-term successor at some point for Stefan, and we've got two goalkeepers in the academy who, with enough development and possible game time as well, could give him a run for his money. Still, after two big bids there, including one for Piper, another big bid for Piper, which of course we rejected, and one for Okugawa as well. We're not going to be selling our star players in January, absolutely not. 4 straight wins, really good way to close out the calendar year. The January window arrives, we've got very little money to work with, but I don't think we'll do anything in this January window. Possibly a little signing, but I don't know. I don't want to sell any of our players in January right now. I like how the squad is currently looking. I like how we're developing as a young team, and what I'm really liking right now is the form we're in as well. And for our first game of January, it was massive. 4 straight wins are now taking on, well, right now what appear to be our arch nemesis, Borussia Mönchengladbach, in a 7th versus 6th battle at the Schuko Arena. Huge game for European qualification, the first one the second half of the season, and wouldn't you just know it, right from kickoff, Jamie Llewellyn, 12th in 15 for our number 10. What a signing he has been, and I tell you, man, when we signed him from Firth, I was saying, you know, Kruger last year, 7 goals in 18 before he tore his ACL. Decent record, but I just knew Llewellyn was going to be a star, changing from a winger to a striker. I can't wait until that position change is completed. He has been brilliant this season. Still chasing Robert Lewandowski in the race for that golden boot. So 1-0 Bielefeld. We would see Agu go down soon afterwards from a corner as he was hobbling a little bit, and right before the break, still up by a goal. Thought I defended really well in the first half, but unfortunately, Felix Agu maybe carrying that knock, hampered his concentration a little bit there, allows Dembele to run in behind. I like the realistic feel for that one there as well, getting exploited due to the injury, and Dembele makes it 1-1. So took him off at half-time. As he was currently struggling a little bit. But in the second half, just past the hour mark, still tied at 1-1. I felt I'd been a better team in this game. I'd had the chances. I'd created some good opportunities. Another one falling here, Robin Hack denied by Jan Sommer at the near post. It was still 1-1. And a draw wouldn't have been a bad result, because every time we faced Mönchengladbach in the series so far, we've been thrashed. Every time we faced these guys, they've absolutely dominated. But I thought, you know what, a point's decent, but if we are to break up the top 6, we need to win the games against the teams above us. So I really went for it in the second half, but Jan Sommer made a couple of great saves, including right there on Robin Hack, turning that distant strike over the bar. And in the end, as you can see, frustration. How many times do we see this? The AI scoring with their only shot in the game. Moussa Dembele's leveler right before the break, ensuring Mönchengladbach would get a point, as thankfully as Agu's injury was just a bruised shoulder. But our winning run ends after 4. Having said that, it's an undefeated stretch of 5 and our longest of the season so far. So not a bad result, and we stopped the rot of the horrendous record against Mönchengladbach. Every time we'd faced them prior to that game, we'd been beaten, and we'd been beaten comfortably. It shows growth. We didn't win. We probably should have done, but we didn't. But a point still shows growth there. We are now beginning to battle with these bigger teams and put up a little bit of a better fight compared to how we got on in the first season. So, third and final game of today's episode. Second and final one of January after the winter break in the Bundesliga. Taking on Bochum, who of course faced very recently away from home and won. That was our third game of December. Now taking on Bochum at the Schuko Arena. Such a frustrating first half. We had 2 golden chances for Okugawa, and our Japanese attacking midfielder smacked the crossbar with both. So it was still 0-0 at the break. We'd been the better team once again. And just before the hour mark here, a chance to get in front. Dardai receives the ball from Schaefer, rolls it through to Robin Hack, gets the ball out of his feet, and again, it's another great save from Robin's distant strike, turned behind for a corner. So still 0-0. I was pushing, I was pressing. This is a disappointing slip up if I couldn't find a winning goal, and our final chance fell with 8 minutes on the clock. And what's that saying? If at first you don't succeed, try again. Robin strike against Mönchengladbach, turn behind by Sommer. Robin strike earlier in the game, turn behind for a corner, but this time he gets the technique perfect, bends it in to the far corner, gives us the game winner with just a few minutes to go. And a big one here at the Schuko Arena. 1-0 against VfL Bochum. He's 6th in 19 games, averaging just under 1 in every 3 Robin Hack this season, and a big victory there. That means 5 wins in our last 6 games. No losses since November, as we'll close out both December and January undefeated as well. Finally, Bielefeld, after a struggling start to Season 2, have gone in some good form. But the real question is, as we're now past the halfway point in the season and there's 15 games to go in the Bundesliga, what have we got to do to get Mönchengladbach out of 6th place? They just love it. Even so, 15 games to go, 4 points to gap, 5 behind Wolfsburg and Leipzig. And to be fair, only 7 behind the league leaders as well. But I'm not thinking about that. My eyes are on 6th place. But that will end today's episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you have, drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And we'll see you for the next episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode, featuring a very exciting development very soon.